Welcome to In the Hot Seat with WRP. Welcome to In the Hot Seat with WRP, where our mission is to inspire an entrepreneurial mindset through engaging conversation. Today we have a special guest who's an attorney. I'm not going to tell you who he is. I'm not going to tell you his story. He is. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce Attorney Steve Miller. How you doing, young fella?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Man, doing great. Fantastic. Tell the viewers and the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, where you were raised. Were you raised in a big house, white picket fence? Tell the viewers and the audience something about yourself.
Okay, well, my name's Steve Miller. I am an attorney here in the Metro Atlanta area. I'm born and raised in Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. It is not Atlanta. Not a Grady baby by any means. Kennestone baby. Born, I guess you said about the house. Two-parent household. Mom and dad both worked. Father was a postmaster. My mom, I really have no clue what she did. I know it was something with the Department of Defense, and I don't know. I tell people she was a spy, but
Okay.
I don't have any clue what she did. But yeah, it was three of us. Me, I got a younger sister, and then a brother. As well, older brother. So I was the middle child. They call us the forgotten one.
Okay.
The middle child. So yeah, that's a little bit.
Okay. Where'd you do your education? Were you said in Marietta schools at Fulton County? Where?
Yeah, I'm a product of Marietta City Schools, public schools, all the way through. What's weird is I'm the only kid. Remember I told you about the middle child, the forgotten one. I'm the only kid that didn't go to private school out of our family. So my brother went to private school. My little sister went to private school. I'm Marietta City all the way through. How that happened, I don't know. But yeah, that's how that happened. I'm the middle child, man.
Okay.
You know?
Maybe they need to save some money.
Yeah, and then they found some later on, I guess. So yeah, Marietta, graduated in 2002. Then went to Savannah State on a partial football scholarship. Hope scholarship covered the rest.
I didn't know you played football.
I was a kicker, so
Okay.
you know, I played. I dressed out. Let's put it that way. So we weren't that good, so I didn't have a lot of opportunities to show off my skills as far as field goals. But yeah, partial football scholarship. Then left Savannah State and took about 3-year hiatus before I went to law school. Went to law school at Cumberland School of Law with Sanford University in Birmingham, Alabama. Did that for 3 years and then came back home.
Okay. So why did you want to become a lawyer?
To become a lawyer, it's a few things.
Okay.
First off, all my life I wanted to be an engineer. Why I did have my godfather was an engineer. I saw some of the stuff that he was doing as far as fixing things. And so I was like, I'm gonna be an engineer. So what would my parents, the type of parents that I had, they would put me in like different camps. So I was like in engineering camps and I was just going hard, just engineering. Then I always kind of had a knack for, I wouldn't say not accepting no as a kid, but always definitely trying to see if I can talk my way into things. So best example, I've always liked shoes, right?
Okay.
Tennis shoes. And I remember back during that time period, we were, me and my mom were at the shoe store. This might have been like middle school or something like that. And when you would get your shoes then, like Nike now, they'll send you a couple pair of laces to go with your shoes. But back then, they had this huge, at the shoe store, they would have this huge wall of shoelaces. And so I had got a pair of, ironically, it was probably some Air Maxes. Some Air Maxes. And I think it was the like the Sidewinders or something like that. But I remember they were black and gray, and they had just some dumb laces that didn't make sense to me. And so I was like, Mom, I need to get these laces right here. And she said, you just got new shoes. Why do you need to get laces? And it was like, without hesitation, I was like, Mama, when you buy a car, you got to put some rims on it, right?
Yeah.
and she looked, and I remember the sales associate looked as well, like, I mean, he got a point, right? Mind you, my parents ain't had no rims on the car. Like, that wasn't them, but she got the point, and I got my shoelaces. And then after that, she was like, have you ever thought about being a lawyer? And I was like, not really. And so I started working at my aunt was an attorney. Okay. She did real estate. This was before the whole real estate thing, 'cause she's pivoted since then. But so she did real estate, and so I started working at her firm, and I was kind of in one of the little closet areas looking at the books, and I was looking at all these checks and the escrow accounts and all that stuff, and then I started seeing more than one comma. And then I said, you know what? I might be able to.
I might be able to do this.
I might be able to do this whole law thing. It might actually work out. So then from that point on, I just did everything to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And just fell in love with it at that point. I didn't know what type of law I wanted to do. I just knew I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay. So when you graduated from Cumberland School of Law, did you work for another firm, someone else, before you eventually open up your own firm?
Yeah, so I worked for a few people. I went into the public sector first, and like remember when I said like I didn't know what type of lawyer I wanted to be. I just knew I wanted to be a lawyer. While I was in law school, I just explored, the vast types. You don't learn how to be a lawyer in law school. You just learn how to think, and how to think like a lawyer in law school. So. I knew I wanted to, because I came from doing like wraparound services to go to law school and during that 3-year hiatus. And so I knew I wanted to help kids. I knew I wanted to help troubled kids. And so I always thought that I was going to do like criminal defense, like for juveniles. And I had a meeting. It wasn't really a meeting. I had lunch with an attorney in Birmingham, and he was a prosecutor. He was like, look, if you really want to make a difference in kids' lives, then the way you want to go about it is prosecuting. And he was like, think about it. They have all the power. They're the ones that make the determinations and tell the judge this is what we should go with. They have all the facts, and they really hold lives in their hands, right? And so I was like, all right, I'm going to prosecution. So I started at the apprentice program for DeKalb County. Actually, I went to Fulton. They wouldn't accept me, or they weren't doing a program at that time, something like that. And so then I went to DeKalb, and I was actually too late to apply in DeKalb, but I ended up, let me tell you how God works. I was over there just dropping off my resume. I ended up in the elevator just talking to the lady that was over the apprentice program. I had no clue who she was. And so I'm just talking to her. I'm telling her what I wanted to do and a little bit about it. And then she said, won't you come back? I'm leaving the courthouse, right? I went to the front desk, dropped off my resume. She was like, won't you come back tomorrow and meet with myself and the rest of the team? I didn't even know what team she was talking about. Turns out it was like the whole apprentice committee. So they accepted me, even though I was way past the deadline. Did that, went the juvenile route, and that's when I met my mentor. And just learned everything about trying a case, compassion. Like, I think a lot of people treat each folder like a folder in a case instead of treating it like a person. So having that personal touch with it and everything else. And then when he left, I followed him to Henry County. Started working there. And so I worked, I ended up getting a job in DeKalb as an apprentice. So I ended up getting a job as apprentice. Then they hired me full time. Left there, went to Henry County, followed him, trial attorney, trying everything. Same in the cap, like murders, armed robberies, burglaries, all those kind of cases. You know what I mean? The ones that really have like consequences to them. Did that, and then I had a case where it was one of those cases that kind of sticks with you, and it was a rape case. And after that case, I called up a friend of mine and was like, "Look, I can't do this no more." And then he was like, "All right, I'm about to leave my job. I'm gonna put in a word for you." So he was working at an insurance company. Ended up working at that insurance company. I was there. I tried to make it last. I was there for like 8 months. I'm not gonna lie. I was there for 8 months, and part of the problem was I was a single parent once I left there, and so it was just me and my son. And I was in trial there because all they wanted was people that could take a case to trial. And working there, I didn't really have any time with my son. And he came to me one day. He was like, "Am I going to see you this week, or am I just going to be with grandma and granddaddy all week?" And so I was like, "All right, I'm going to have to."
Got to do something.
Yeah, I got to do something. I got to make a change because it's just me and him.
Yeah.
And this ain't working.
Yeah, that's when the light bulb went on.
Yeah. And so I started interviewing at some of these plaintiffs' firms. Most of them I was whooping up in court anyway. So I was like, they got to take me.
Yeah.
And then found one where he was just looking for some people that could try cases. And I worked there for about a year and a half. The whole time I had my mindset, I knew I was going to open up my own firm. So the whole time I was there, I was just soaking in the game, getting the processes down. And he knew what it was. Like when we went to lunch and stuff, I wasn't asking questions about like this case or that case. Like my questions were, all right, so when these checks come in, I know we put them in this way, and then we do this with them, and then
how you disperse them.
Yeah,
you know?
and it was more managerial questions.
Yeah.
Like, how do you manage this? How do you do that? And so when I finally told him like I was going to hang my own shingle, first he was upset, and I could see it on his face like he was mad. And then he was like, "Well, where are you going?" Because I think his idea was I had got poached. And so then he asked me like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, I'm about to believe in myself and try to see if I can do it." Face brightened up.
Yeah.
All right, this is who you need to talk to. He laid it out. Good dude. We still talk to this day at least 2-3 times a month. And so
you left on good terms.
Yeah, left on good terms. So, all the cases I had, he let me keep. It was good. It was real good. So yeah.
Okay. When you went and hung your own shingle, what were some of the initial issues that you had when you opened up?
Initial issues? Yeah. Rod, there's so many places you can go with that question.
A few of them. A couple of them.
I would say first is trying to figure out like where these cases gonna come from.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's like, how are you gonna market yourself? What is your branding? You know what I mean? How is that supposed to look like? Is ironing out those little details that were initial. Secondly, was kind of working those cases in addition to doing the branding and the marketing and everything else that came with it.
You're doing everything.
You're doing everything, especially from the get-go. And so not being familiar with any of that, like I just kind of had to, I had some good people around me and they kind of showed me a few things and helped me out with, this is how I did this and that. You got to listen.
Yeah.
Because people will tell you how to do things and what works for you. And so that initial just getting everything started was one of those kind of hurdles. I say another one was like the whole point was freedom and me being able to spend more time with my son.
Yeah. And then you got to think about, okay, get these cases out. It's on me now.
Yeah,
I got to generate this. I got to generate this revenue.
Eat what you kill.
Yeah,
that's all it is eat what you kill.
Oh.
And so when it was just me and him, I'm at the grocery store passing out. business card. Like everywhere I went, somebody left with the business card, and that's how I was able to get a lot of cases in. Like, I mean, I was doing accidents, so it was I pull up to a grocery store and you park right next to me. You got a bad dent in your car, and you know half the side mirror is gone in the back. I'm asking questions. What happened? What's going on? Well, you know, are you hurt? I'm like, you know, I do accidents. If you're not hurting this one, then here, take my card. Your cousins or whatever. I know you got family members.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do to get those cases in. And so I think at first my son might have been embarrassed, but then eventually, you know, they start to get it.
Yeah, because I know when I went out on my own, there were 3, 4, 5 months. You know, I ain't got no money coming in. What I'm gonna do? And I'm sure you experienced, you know, some of those issues too. It's just like, come on now, something got to give.
I'll tell you, one of the benefits was when I left that firm, a lot of my friends were saying, like, this is what you're going to have to argue with when you leave. You're going to have to argue with the managing partner over, like, your cases, your splits, and all that stuff like that. When I left, like I said, he was such a good dude. He was like, look, all these cases, you generated these cases. These are your people. Do me this. Just once they settle, give me everything I paid out of them. So he just wanted his expenses back. Wow. And so I was able to start with a caseload of about 30 cases. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that doesn't come by very often, especially in this field.
And then it goes back to leaving on good terms. I mean, because I've heard horror stories. When people leave, I don't care. They staying here.
These my cases now. They signed my retainer. Yeah, so he wasn't. Luckily, he wasn't one of those people. He was a good dude. Well, he is a good dude. Still is. But so I had to wait for those cases to settle. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it wasn't out the gate, but it was a little bit of a low. I'll say. The best thing that happened during that time period when I left was COVID, because they had this little thing called the PPP loan?
PPP, absolutely.
They had this thing called a PPP loan. I basically started my firm with a PPP loan. Wow. That was it, $5,000. Wow. Took out $5K. I was like, all right, $5K and what's in the savings, we're gonna make it work.
There you go.
Let's go to this grocery store. Yep.
When did you realize that you could compete with everybody in a personal injury field?
That I could compete with them? Man, it was a couple instances. There's so when I started, I was going, like I said, I'm passing my cards out to everybody. I was also going to all these PI events, you know, that they got, and those events where you get all that networking done and you talking to doctors or providers or whatever. I was at one of those talking to a doctor that I had did, like, you know, a lot of business with them, and they keep up with the numbers, which attorneys are bringing in what, right? And so they were telling me, you know, they were telling me where I was at on their list. And so it was like Morgan & Morgan, Foy, all these other, you know, these big name firms. And then they were like, and you are like here, like still in the top 10 after all those. And I was like, me? Like, for real? I really thought they was just playing. Like, it was all cap. Because the way I work, I always work like I never feel like I'm doing enough, right? And so that's part of what keeps me going, because I always feel like what I'm doing can't be enough. Like, I always got to be doing something more. And so to hear that, at first I thought it was just cap. Then I went to another event, saw another provider, and he told me his numbers, and it was around the same for him. And then I was like, well, who's after me? And it was a friend of mine. And so he and I were at an event. He was like, man, they told me that you in front of me and such and such. And I was like, oh, they not lying. Like we really kind of doing some stuff. And so I think that's one of those moments where it's just like, I'm really kind of doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's really happening.
Yep.
It's like that, and then just have the fact that there's always a feeling of imposter syndrome, and so it's a lot of days to this day that I sit back and I might need something for trial, and the fact that I could just call a doctor and just be like, hey, I need this favor. Would you be able to do this, this, or that for me? I got this client. Is it fair to say this, this, and this? Is this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that doctor would be like, yeah, that's cool. I got other attorneys, homeboys and friends, and they got billboards and stuff like that. And I just hit them up. Let's go get some drinks. You know what I mean? Like, and that still, to me, is getting used to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I would say that was kind of a
Okay.
aha.
Now, getting back to the business side of your firm, when did you realize that in order to run an effective business, I got to, deal with these taxes, my CPAs. When did you have that revelation? Because a lot of times people go into business, they think the money comes in, it's all theirs.
Yeah.
And it's not. When did it hit you that I need to run this like a business?
So, getting started, the best thing you can have are people around you that know what they're talking about. I know law. I know how to settle cases. I know how to get cases in. I know how to work those cases once they get in, and I know how to get people the maximum amount of money that they can get on a case. I don't know math that well, right? And so very quickly I had to go through a few CPAs before I found one that she's my girl, right? And I just you got to put people in place. 'Cause one, it helps you out a lot, but you got to put people in place that know their business.
Yep.
And allow them to do their business
And pay them.
and pay them
Yes.
for doing their business. My CPA, I've hooked her up with a couple of my homeboys that just started their firms. And what she does for each of us is she does our books, but at the same time, she's always finding, all right, I can make Steve some money doing this. I can make such and such some money if he goes this route. You know what I mean? And you find a CPA like that is not only just looking at your money, but also making sure that you're gonna make money. I remember our first conversation. She told me what her rate was, and I said, "How am I supposed to pay that?" You know what I mean? Like because she said it with a straight face. And I was like, how am I supposed to pay that? She was like, if you listen to me and do everything I say, it's not gonna
Be an issue.
It's not gonna be an issue. And she was right. It ain't no issue. It is not an issue. But you gotta listen to those people, the right people. Definitely.
And surround yourself with a team who knows what they're doing. And same thing happened with me. I thought I could do my books first year. This ain't working.
Nah.
This ain't working. So I'm gladly pay an expert to do what this went to school for. So
Yeah, so it's so important. It's so important.
you said something about you're a mentor. How important is having a mentor in this game?
It's very,
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, and when you say mentor, I think just in life, we have different people that we look up to or that will mentor us in different facets of our life, right? So as a kid, of course, I was looking up to my pops. Everything I was going to do was going to be like my dad. I was going to be like him. I always thought, my mindset, the way I always thought was, if I could be better than my dad, then I'm going to be all right. And my dad was he was that dude, right? And so I was like, if I could be better than him, then I could be good. And so I'll take everything I can from him. Once you get to like your upper years, your college, and then into your career and stuff, you got to look at what other people are doing and how you can get to that little area where they're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like while I was prosecuting, my mentor was the deputy chief of the group of our unit, but you would see stuff from the way that he worked his cases to all prosecutors aren't like real lawyers. There's only a few. Some are politicians. And then you have this small niche that are both lawyers and politicians, and they can work both. He was in that niche.
Okay.
And so to see him work the news and everything he had to do with that, the media, and then to see him, I watched every trial he did. The way I cross-examine now is exactly how he cross-examines. And just watching that, mimicking that, and then inserting your own style into it, that's what you got to do. And so it's just like that was for that time. When I was opening up my firm, it was the managing attorney that I was working for, and how he did things. And my firm basically runs like his, but it's mine. You know what I mean? I put my own
Twist.
Lowry's, seasoning,
Yeah.
salt, you know what I mean? Pepper. I put my own little sauce on it, but the base is what he did. And so I think that those mentors, they hold, if you use it right? And it shouldn't be, I say use. It shouldn't be a use. It should be kind of a push-pull, because I know I can't do as much for them as they've done for me, but I hope there are some things that I'm able to do that can help them with things. I know the one I was just talking about, that I was kind of modeled my firm after him. When we talk, we bouncing ideas off of each other, right? And a lot of times in those conversations, it's kind of that I made it moment, like you were saying before, because it's just like he's really listening to me and trying to get my advice. All I'm trying to do is be like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's super duper important to find you somebody that's been there, that's done it, and that you can replicate it, but put your own spin on it.
That's critical. That's real critical, because you're going to have people coming up to you. You're going to be eventually mentoring them. If not, you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you are. Okay. Who inspires you?
Inspires me? I would say I'm inspired by, I don't know, is it fair to say my kids?
That's fair enough. I mean, that's who you work. That's why you working.
Yeah,
you
that's
know, to
why I'm
provide
working.
them a better life. You know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say my kids. I want to make my parents proud. I want to make all those that are around me, that know me intimately, that know the real. You know, there's Steve, and then there's Steven. Those ones that know Steven,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I make them proud. But yeah, more than anything, sometimes I look at my son, and I'm just like, if I don't make it, I don't know what you gonna do.
Because every one of your kids, they're looking at you.
They're looking at you.
They're looking at you.
They looking at you. So it's like
It's a slippery slope.
the hiccups and everything that
Yeah.
you go through, like they watching that and they looking at it. So yeah, I would say the most part I make my decisions to see like how are my kids gonna view this. Is it gonna be something that they can be proud of?
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Cool. Okay. What are some common challenges that you face as a minority-owned firm? Give us a few examples. Some common challenges that you face.
I'm gonna say right now it's staying cool. It is hot in here.
Yeah, you know, but we
No fan or nothing. It's the hot seat.
you know, it's the hot seat.
This is the hot
It's
seat.
the hot
I
seat.
should have wore a black t-shirt, bro.
Oh, you gonna be all right.
Man,
Well,
challenges.
get
Give
some
me
water.
some water.
Yeah, get you some
Goodness
water.
gracious.
Yeah, get you some water.
I say the question being a minority business owner, the challenges, right?
Yeah.
We got a different community
Absolutely.
than everybody else, and our community, we all think we family a little bit, and we are to a certain extent, and we treat each other accordingly. But there are times where my people believe that I'm doing this for free. They really believe, and they will question me about everything that I'm doing. And so it is the hardest part, and which is why I've switched to only handling personal injury, like I was doing PI and doing criminal. I'm on trial calendars where the judge is not going to let me out. I have to take these cases to trial because I've been with them so long. And these clients have not paid me anything past my initial retainer. That's it. And so now I got to make this trial work. And it gets to a point where it's like, I'm kind of paying out of pocket for this, you know? And I'm not going to say all of us, but there's a good number of us that will fight back on your prices, how much you charge, and will beef with you about, and say you didn't, I would say that part. I think y'all kind of getting the gist of it, but it's just like the fact that it's you. They feel like they can come and
Water down your service.
negotiate your fee, but they're not doing that with anybody else.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Nobody else, and so it's just you got to kind of put your foot down with that. I think in the beginning I was a little more lenient. But we've reached a point where it's just like we don't have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and not just you. I know when I started, I was lenient. I don't do that no more.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, why?
Why?
You're not going to do it, nowhere else. So, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
And you know what? The other problem that comes with that, Rob, is like when I was lenient and when I made exceptions for people and when I did stuff to, all right, let me just help you out. I was always the one that got the short end.
Yeah.
Right. And so it was times where I would go above and beyond, do stuff that I would, one, don't have to do, but two, is going to make my life even more difficult just to help out a client. And what I get is pushback. I get 2 stars on my reviews, or you ain't doing me no favor. And I'm just like, I ain't got to do this. Like, I don't have to. So that kind of stuff, it hardens you, and it makes you, so you like, this is why people don't want to help out with a few things, because y'all just, you take advantage of people, and it's a lot of stuff like that.
And the thing that gets me is when you initially meet a client, and the first thing they want to talk to you is about negotiating your fee. I'm just like, no, not doing that.
Not doing that.
Off the rip. Such and such said they can do it for X amount %. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So
you should go with such and such.
So,
but I'm gonna tell you what else you're gonna get with such and such. Some horrible service.
Yes, absolutely.
Horrible service.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges is just
standing your ground.
Standing your ground. I feel like I shouldn't have to. I mean, I'm selling the service, so I want your business. But at the same time, I shouldn't have to not I shouldn't be able to. I should be able to get what I deserve, and we shouldn't be negotiating on the back end because X, Y, and Z. And usually those are the ones where you done put in way more time.
Absolutely.
Way more time than you usually do.
Okay. Well, how do you continue to grow and develop your brand?
My brand, keep young people around you. I'm at an age, I just turned 40 in January. Before I came here, I went to the gym. I can't do what I was doing before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my body is changing. My back is hurting right now, right? But there are things out there that kids can tell you, and if you listen and pay attention to, that will help you to reinvent yourself. That will help you to mold and change with the times. That are going to help you. I just hired a paralegal recently. During her interview, she was like, "You got TikTok?" I was like, "No, I don't be on TikTok." She was like, "Well, I got over 18,000 followers on my TikTok. I can help your TikTok grow and do this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Oh, really? Let's talk some more." You know what I mean? And so it's just like having her around, some young folks around. I got a teenage son, so I learned the lingo just
Talking to him.
just talking with him. I'll learn some lingo from him, but that'll help keep you young and like just
Absolutely.
reinventing yourself. So you don't, because we get stuck in our ways sometimes.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I literally got on some shoes that I wore in high school.
Yeah, they comes around.
They comes back around, man. It comes back around.
Okay. I'm to the point now, I have a collection of sneaks, and I hardly ever wear dress shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's the norm now. So,
Oh yeah, you won't catch me. You won't even catch me in no suit, Rob, if I can help it.
I'm saying unless you got to go to court.
Unless I gotta go to court, and then as soon as I get back to the office, it's coming off.
Okay. All right. How do you stay updated with the latest developments in the personal injury field? How do you stay updated?
CLEs help. I remember when I was prosecuting, when we went to those CLEs, we were just getting our hours. Where no one really paying attention too tough. There was a couple that you would pay attention to, but being in this field and owning your own business, you got to stay up to date. And so going to those CLEs, learning everything that's changed with the legislature and these new rules that they have. Even though I don't really do criminal, I'll still go to criminal CLEs. I go to DUI CLE all the time, just to learn what's new with these DUI cases. With the a lot of these CLEs are like conferences, and so they'll be centered around like entrepreneurs, and so it'll have like a marketing situation. Like, this is the marketing class, this is that, this is your funding, and this is that. And so it's because I gotta eat what I kill, and because I gotta get it to make sure the firm is gonna stay afloat.
Absolutely.
I got a pen out. I'm making sure I got all of that stuff. I'm looking at the slides afterwards to see what we can implement in our firm. I think it's one of those things that when you're working for a firm, you don't really have to keep up with. But when you're on your own, you better know.
Everything counts. I mean,
Everything.
And you have to be on top of it, because when you're working for yourself, it's almost as if, well, to me, there's a big bullseye on my back. You know, my kids, like you said, are looking at me. And if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
And who gonna do it?
And that is critical for me. But the freedom that I have now is priceless. You couldn't pay me X amount of dollars to go work somewhere else.
Oh, nah. Ain't no number.
Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't no number.
Ain't no number. So
But that's the mindset too. I'm reading this book, Millionaire Mindset. You read it?
I have. I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
reading. This is my second time around reading it, but it talks about that where it's just like you got to have that mindset. If I ain't gonna do it, it ain't gonna get done, and it's a commitment to it that you have to have. And I didn't really realize the commitment I had until it's like nowadays I look back at it and like, dang, I was really doing this, I was really doing that, and just seeing that elevation slowly.
Yeah. And I know my commitment is my kids. I take them to school, I pick them up, and me having the flexibility, owning my own firm, it affords me that. If I was working for somebody else, I couldn't do that. You know, so. And they're 16 and soon to be 14. They're at that point in their life where I can't be like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all go to the wolves. I got to go take care of this. My schedule revolves around them. So
You still gotta be hands on with them.
absolutely,
Still gotta be.
Okay, let's switch over to health and lifestyle. How important is maintaining your health in this pervasive field of personal injury?
So, like I said, I literally left the gym before I came here. The office we just opened up, one of the benefits is my gym that I've been going to for 10, 15 years is literally downstairs, right? I would go crazy if I did not have an outlet from this work. Quiet as kept. This type of work has put me in the hospital 3 times just from stress, right? And so it was it was every time that I went, it was during a time period when I wasn't letting it out. I was just working, and on go. And so like knowing that I can get there, just because of how I work, it forces me to go to the gym, make sure I'm going to my doctor's appointments and my checkups and working out, having my outlets, going on vacation. I stopped posting my vacations because I had a client one time came in and said, "You seem like you on vacation every month."
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
I am, but I have to be.
Yeah.
I gotta be.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Like, it comes back to that freedom. Even if I'm not in Atlanta, I still got my laptop with me,
I'm still working.
and I'm still working. I'll go on a vacation for like, usually it's like 3-4 days or whatever. I don't take long vacations until like the holidays, but during those time periods when I'm gone, every morning I'm waking up like 2 hours a day, 3 hours in the morning time. Cause I get up early anyway, and so I'm waking up. I'm seeing what all I can knock out for about 2-3 hours, and then everybody else might be asleep. But then I got the whole rest of the day to kick it with the fam and everything. But it's one of those things you gotta work out. Gotta take off time and vacation.
You have to.
Got to.
Because these clients, they'll run you crazy.
They will.
They'll run you crazy.
They will.
And I know that I have, it's going on over 2 years now, I have a personal trainer, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me. And so, hell, I'm 53 years old, so it's just like, hell, I ain't getting no damn younger.
Nah.
So, but, yeah, that's critical. That's very critical. After a long day at work, I know you say you work out. How do you decompress?
Decompress? Man, I will. If it's been one of those days, then I'm going to come home and I'm going to get in the jacuzzi and I'm going to just sit there for a while. And I'm going to have an audio book playing in my ear. And I'm just sitting there. Most days, though, because I go to the gym in the morning time. So most days when I come home, I'm taking the dog out. Might go get some dinner somewhere, or I'm trying to start cooking again. I used to be a beast, but I just got away from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time, and everything else. But might cook something real quick, and then I'm a sports guy, so
Okay.
this season is kind of hard for me. I grew up playing soccer.
Okay.
I don't enjoy watching it as much.
Why is that?
I don't know. I like the international game, the club teams. I just can't. I'm an Atlanta United fan, but the team has changed up so much in the past years that all my favorite players
They've gone.
they gone. So I don't really watch anymore.
Falcons fan?
Man, unfortunately, I've had season tickets for the Falcons for like the past maybe 7, 8 years or something like that. And every year, when it's time to make that initial payment, I look at it and I'm just like, do I really feel like putting myself through this? Another season? Another season. So, yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, so Falcons fan, yes. Hawks fan, yes. I got season tickets to the Hawks, too. Those are easier to come by because, in our field, you go to a Hawks game, it's really a networking event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Because you're going to see, it's going to be a bunch of attorneys there. You're going to be catching up. And, the little clubs or whatever like that. So the Hawks make sense. The Falcons, it's hard for me to justify that every year.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan, so I put myself through that, and then I'm just mad every Sunday.
But I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna do something this year.
I hope so.
Yeah, we say that every year.
I hope so. I really do. I'm optimistic every year. The last 2-3 years, I've just been on some. Let's get this over with. Yeah, like I go to the games. I'm in the same. I keep saying I'm a move, but like I said, I've had these tickets for like 7, 8 years. I'm in the 200 section. I see people coming, and of course, like all y'all lawyers and everybody, y'all on the 100 section and in the bins. I'm in the 200 section, 244, row 8, seats 11 and 12, and we've been there strong. Got the same group of people right there. My dad is seats 5 and 6 or whatever, and so they right there. And so I hadn't changed because I like the seats that we're at, but I also, once we start really making some noise and getting into the playoffs, and then like the NFC just ain't who's the worst team that could come out, then I might try to move up or something. But now I'm just gonna keep making my little payments.
Just hoping, something changes.
Hoping something changes. I don't even know if we fixed the quarterback situation. I don't know what we're gonna do this year, man. I don't know.
See.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, how do you engage with the local community?
As far as business wise, because Steve Miller, the person, I hate being in the house.
Okay.
So I'm always outside.
Okay.
Like this weekend alone, like from Friday till today is Sunday, I don't know how long I've been in my house. Like I haven't been there. Like I'm always outside, out and about, always moving. My girl would say like I'm the hyper, the most hyper person she's ever known, because it's just like I got these things where it's like I call them I got Steve days, where I just like, it's usually on Sundays where I just go and do whatever. So I'll hit the gym, then I'll hit a restaurant, then I'll hit this, then I'll go there. But so that Steve is always out. As far as the firm goes, we do a lot of stuff as far as like community events. So in Forest Park, we got a partnership with them, and so for their Juneteenth, for their back to school, for their Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, it's the tailgating party for different events that they have. We're going to have a booth there. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We've given away a gang of TVs. We've given away a bunch of gift cards from like American Express and gas cards during that time period when gas was crazy. And like I said, school's about to go back in, so we got the book bags, notebooks, and a bunch of stuff that we donate. And so we always in the community there. There's a couple other pop-up events that we'll do. This year we sponsored a table at the daddy-daughter dance. And so that was fun. I think that's actually something that we probably going to start doing moving forward, because that was a good time.
Just good giving back.
Yeah, just giving back, being in the community. You know, at those events, I ain't really passing out no cards or nothing. Like, if you've got questions that I'll answer them, but for the most part, it's just another excuse for me to get out the house.
There you go.
Be outside.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question, Steve. If someone came up to you and said, I want to be an attorney, what type of advice would you give me?
I would tell you pick another career. If you want to maintain some sanity, this ain't what you want. First and foremost, but if you was hard set on being an attorney, definitely get your schooling. And get your schooling, be that person that's going to get your grades and all of that stuff tight. But more importantly, make sure you do right by everybody that you come into contact with. When I stepped out on my own, what I didn't realize, I'm trying to think of another way to say this, but we can cuss on here, right? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right.
We use a.
I got another colorful word.
Okay,
for
use a
it.
colorful word.
Yeah, you realize how many people really bang with you, and how many people that you've really done right by when you step out on your own to do this work. Because I've never done wrong by anybody. I think that I've always been like a cool person to everybody, and I hadn't burned really too many bridges. And so, like, if you're able to maintain that kind of personality, then as an attorney, it's going to help you in the long run, because people are going to come to you. It might not even be something that you can help them with, but it's going to be something that you can point them in the right direction. So I'd be, first and foremost, grades, education, get that squared away. But second, just make sure you're taking care of your community and building relationships with everybody in it, because it's a service. It's a service job, and it's hard to be able to provide a service when nobody wants to deal with you as a person. So I would say that probably that. That's not really the answer that you usually get for that, but I would say just do
Because
right by people.
A lot of people, they see the outside appearance of this successful attorney, but they don't know what went into putting out this product.
Right.
It's the behind the scenes work that you have to put in. And are you willing to do that?
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't willing to do
They're
that.
not willing to do that.
I mean, it's...
Or they don't have the temperament for it. Like,
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Yeah.
And so...
Just like I'm mentoring my niece. She's going to be the 1L at UGA.
Okay.
And...
You couldn't convince her to go up?
Well, I'm glad she's going away to school.
Okay.
You know, she needs to go away from school, to grow up, put big pants on. And unless you've been through this, the outside world can't tell you what you're getting ready to encounter. You know what I mean? Just like you and I, we sat for the bar exam. We talking to an average person about the bar exam.
They're not going to understand that
They're
stress.
not going to understand that stress.
Yeah.
That stress is a stress that you and I, we only can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just be real with people.
Yeah.
You know, why do you want to be an attorney? Are you willing to make the sacrifices that it's going to require?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, I done been through. I'm still sacrificing. You still sacrificing. But some of the stuff that you're gonna go through, are you built for it?
Right. That part.
So, I think that's where people get skewed. You know, they see all this stuff on TV, and it's just, it ain't all that.
It ain't all
It
that.
ain't all that.
A lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work.
A whole lot.
Okay. What has been the most rewarding aspect of your career as an attorney?
As an attorney, I would say, at the end of a case, when you get that hug from a client, when I was prosecuting, it was a hug from a mom or a cousin or a sister or something like that. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mr. Miller. All of that. That's the rewarding part.
Okay.
It really truly is. Like that's what I've gotten this month. I think I got about 3-4 hugs
There you go.
for clients, and you know, look, I'm cool. I'll take that any day because that lets me know that you really appreciated what I did for you, and you won't forget me.
There you go.
Yeah, and so yeah, no, that's where the reward comes from.
Okay. All right. Give the viewers and the listeners a challenging case that you've encountered, and how did you handle it?
How I handled it, I got a few. I got one that I'm in right now, and I don't want to say too much about it, but I'll just say it's a murder case, and it's challenging because he really didn't do it. And they are really trying to put this on him, despite not having any evidence, really any true evidence to show that he did this. And so it's the fact that that's when those nerves come in, because it's like the only thing standing between him being out and free and being able to be with his 2 kids and his girl and his mom. I'd have met the whole family and all that, and being behind bars for the rest of his life is me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that is
Puts a lot of pressure on
yeah,
you.
that puts a lot of pressure on you. That's a huge burden to bear. And so that's one that we've been working that one. I've been working that case for about 3 years now. And it's just not getting to the point where we about to go to trial. Because the state's been just they've been bullshitting a lot. And so I've seen him and what he's had to go through this time period, knowing he didn't do this and knowing all the evidence that we got to show he did. So I mean that's one. The other one is I had a case where my client she was pregnant at the time of the accident, and due to the accident, she lost her baby. And so it was her case came. There was at least one other attorney. It might have been 2 attorneys that had her case before I got it. And when I got it, I heard the facts, and it wasn't that good of a case. But it's sometimes when if I get just a little piece of a lemon, I'm gonna be able to make some lemonade, or I'm gonna try my best to make some lemonade out of it. It might have a lot of sugar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of filler,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna try to, and that's one where we were able to get the limits on that, and I worked that case to the bone because I felt for her.
Yeah.
She and I are still in communication now. Like she texts me every now and then, like, Mr. Miller, how you doing, and all that. But it's one, how she even got to me was, I said, you gotta do right by people and be genuine when you meet these people. But like it was a chiropractor that sent that case to me, and me and this chiropractor, we did some business together, but it wasn't a lot. You know what I mean? And so for her to trust me with that, and for us to get the result that we got for her, knowing everything that she had already went through, that was a challenging case. So that was a nice hug at the end of that one.
Good. Okay. Well, we as we get ready to wrap this up, I always ask my guests a hot seat, moment. I want you to give the guests and the audience a hot seat, an embarrassing or challenging situation that you were in, and how did you handle it?
An embarrassing or challenging? I'm trying.
Or challenging,
Challenging. I'll say an embarrassing one was when I first started in DeKalb County. The judge that I had a very big personality, and I'm from Marietta. I do not subscribe that I'm from Atlanta. I say I'm from Marietta, and so there are some places in Atlanta that I might say a little differently. And so I'm standing in the middle of the courtroom, and I'm calling the calendar, and it was looking for some police department or something like that. But I was saying what happened in the case, and it happened in Chamblee, right? It's Chamblee, Chamblee. Apparently, I thought it was called Chamblee. And so that I was like, so they left such and such area, and then they went to Chamblee, and then the judge. This is a courtroom full of people, right? I'm brand new attorney, courtroom full of people, people spilling out the door, and it's me calling his calendar, all eyes on me, and he was just like, Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? And I was like, the Chamblee police went to go apprehend. And he's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, one more time. Just say it one more time, right? By this time, the whole courtroom laughing. I still don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Chamblee. Like, come on now, Chamblee. And so he was like, I applaud your efforts, Mr. Marietta. But here in DeKalb County, as well as the rest of Metro Atlanta, we call that Chamblee. And I was like,
okay.
All right. Appreciate that, Judge.
Okay.
That's one I could think of offhand, but he made sure he was always doing some hazing like that. Yeah. So I got a bunch of those from him, from that judge. Good guy.
Okay. How can someone get in contact with you? I want you to give your contact information to the viewers and the audience. Look into the camera and give us your contact information.
Yeah. So, like I said, Steve Miller, we are the Miller firm. We are a small boutique firm here. We specialize in personal injury cases. Call us about anything. We'll be able to get it worked out, or at least at a minimum point you in the right direction. But you can give us a call, 404-583-3960. Social media is MillerFirm_law on IG. On TikTok, it is the MF Lawyer of ATL. Facebook is the same as Instagram. It is MillerFirm_ATL. But you can go to our website, MillerFirmATL.com. Fill out some stuff there, and then we'll be able to get back with you shortly. We're here to help. Difference between us, other firms, is when you come to us, you really are treated like part of the family. At the conclusion of all the cases, I give like a thank you letter, and one of the things I write in there is like, you're invited to the family reunion. You bring in a potato salad. It's something corny. It's something corny. But we try to treat everybody like family. Constant communication with all our clients is how we strive to get things done.
Okay. Cool beans. And with that, we are done with In the Hot Seat with WRP with attorney Steve Miller.
The hot seat.
Thank you. Welcome to In the Hot Seat with WRP.